Hi, my name is Parjit Singh, and now we'll be moving on to introduction. Fraud is a wrongful and criminal deception done for personal or financial gain. There are many platforms people use to commit frauds such as mail, phone, and internet. Many companies were also involved in fraudulent activities such as WorldCom and Tyco. Freddie Mac is a GSC corporation in Tyson Center, Virginia. Freddie Mac was created in 1970s to expand the secondary market in mortgage alongside Fannie Mae. They will buy the mortgage from secondary market, pool them, and then sell them back as mortgage-backed securities to the investors. From 1938 to 1968, Fannie Mae was the sole institution in terms of buying mortgage, lending mortgage, loan associations, and many more. But in 1968, they were broken up into Fannie Mae and Ginnie Mae. Ginnie Mae is the public institution, while um, Fannie Mae is still the private corporation. To give competition to the private corporation, Fannie Mae, Congress decided to create Freddie Mac under the Emergency Home Finance Act 1970. Nature of fraud. Freddie Mac understated its earnings by 5 billion for over 3 years. They basically shifted their assets into categories without any change in underlying economics of its performance. Scandal happened from the year 2000 to 2003. According to US Securities and Commission, Freddie Mac misinterpreted their earnings in the year 2000, 2001 and 2002 by these percentages. They did it because the interest rate went from 8% to 5.2%. The people who were involved were David W. Glenn, Warren A. Clark, Robert C. Dean, and Nazir G. Dosani. In the year from 1998 to 2000, it was also found that Freddie Mac somehow misinterpreted their earnings, but there was no concrete proof to prove it.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Muhammad Aiman bin Samsudin. I'm from Group 6. For my part, I will explain about the effects of Freddie Mac during the fraud. Let's get started. The Freddie Mac's fraud or scandal is one out of a long list of similar scandals such as Enron and WorldCom, which collectively have damaged the reputation of the auditing profession. Outcome resulted in the further downfall of Anderson, where it adds to more than 100 auditing-related civil legislation pending against the firm. Impact of Freddie Mac or the effect of Freddie Mac then 100. If impact of Freddie Mac or the effect of Freddie Mac is they need to pay 50 millions to settle the fraud charges and to settle federal charges that is fraudulently earnings over a 4-year period. Four former Freddie Mac executives settled the negligent conduct charges by agreeing to pay a total of $550 million in civil fines and to make restitution totaling $275 and $548. The events shocked Wall Street, where Freddie Mac, the nation's second largest buyer and guarantor of home mortgages, long had enjoyed a reputation as a steady performer and a reliable corporate player. Freddie Mac then recorded $125 million civil fine in 2003 in a settlement which with the Office of Federal Housing Enterprise Oversight, which blamed management misconduct for the faulty accounting. The $50 million Freddie Mac agreed to pay will be distributed to shareholders injured by the alleged accounting fraud. The settlement with the company is subject to court approval. Shares of Freddie Mac rose 44 cents or 0.7% to $59.99. Over the past 52 weeks, the company's stock has traded between 54.7 $54.97 and $71.92. That's all about the effect of Freddie Mac during the scandal or or fraud. So thank
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amirul Hafizullah bin Khairus Salih. My maintenance number is UDE 200044. Alright, we move to next part, which is three component of internal control, including control activity that could help avoid the fraud case. Okay, firstly, control environment. Freddie Mac should have checked the people who monitor the control whether they are committed to carry out their work with with ethical values and integrity. Okay, this fraudulent activity went on for 3 years, 3 years without being noticed by these people. So this shows Freddie Mac should improve their control environment. Okay, other than that, management risk assessment. Management should have monitor business risk and find ways to solve it. The management should have a honest approach towards financial reporting. So they should have evaluate the business risk and try to catch the people who were involved in fraudulent activity. So lastly, monitoring internal audit department. So the management should assess quality of internal control over time. Arthur Adenson, who was the auditor, failed to recognize the fraudulent activity carried out by 4 executives in this company. Okay, a good internal auditor must be appointed that could help the management to check performance of internal control and financial position.
What happened to Freddie Mac in the present time? Thanks to the home rising price in 2012, the Freddie Mac and his sibling company have reported quarterly profit for the fifth time since the crisis began. The improvement of the finance for the both of companies has led the US Treasury Department to reconsider their old agreement to the government, that is the bailout of government. Under the old agreement, Freddie and Fannie Mae have to draw the money from the Treasury Department to support their capital reserve. But in exchange, the Fannie and Freddie have to issue their stock to the government, which they have to pay mandatory 10% dividend. Under the new rules, the US Treasury Department will simply claim all the profit of Fannie and Freddie Mac at the end of each quarter and will provide them a capital when necessary in the event of the quarterly loss. As the worst crisis appears to be over, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae has a long way to repaying their debt. According to Moody's Analytics, it will take 15 years to pay back taxpayer in full. While the government has played a central role in the operation of Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. The continue of this uncertainty has led many staff quit their job from the Mac Freddie and Fannie Mae, and has caused a investment shortage in the necessary infrastructure and systems. That's all for the what happened to the Mac Freddie in the present time.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Amin Samsuddin. I'm from Group 6 and I'll explain about my second part, which is conclusion of the Freddie Mac. So let's get started. The Freddie Mac case is one of many corporate scandals that have brought attention to the failure of audit to detect material statement in the financial reports associated with fraud. As a result, there have been tangible developments in auditing, focusing on independence, corporate governance, and auditor liability. However, this kernel was revealed 6 months after the introduction of SOX, which addresses many of the weaknesses in auditing which were relevant to the previous case. In conclusion, auditors should realize and embrace their social responsibilities, thereby increasing their detection of medical misstatements, aiding the identification of fraud. We believe the issues of accountability raised by the Friday case and other scandals are immediate in the expectation gap. Auditor responsibilities are unclear, therefore, when fraud scandal occurs, it is difficult to point fingers at who should be held accountable for misconduct. Scandals such as the Friday case have underlined the recent weaknesses in the auditing profession. However, in what direction auditing develops in the near future will be determined by the strength of the market to influence the audit objectives and how the profession responds to such pressure. So that's all about the conclusion of Freddie Mac. For my own opinion or for my own conclusion, company should not do the fraud because it is illegal under the law. But if any company still do not obey about the law, there will be a lot of problems comes out. Thank you.
Okay, lastly, we move to final exam component. Okay, a component of the internal control plays the most crucial part in ensuring the successfulness of an organization. Internal control policy is control environment, which is this as a foundation in internal control that include providing discipline and structure, including attitude, awareness, policies, and action of management. There are several elements of control environment that will lead to successfulness of an organization internal control policy. If there are no these elements as the basis of organization, it will lead to the failure of the organization internal control policy. Some of the elements of control environment are as described in the slide. Okay, actually, elements in control environment has many, but I take in general only. So yeah, first, communication and enforcement of integrity and ethical. So the person who create, administer and monitor the control must have integrity and ethical values, since it may be influence the effectiveness of organization internal control. For example, internal control officer. If no person like this, a policeman or watchdog, we can call it, in the company, indirectly internal control policy cannot work smoothly. So I think. So number 2, commitment to competence. Management must specify the degree of competence for a particular job and translate it into required level of knowledge and skill. For example, a lecturer is assigned to do the work of an accountant who does not understand the way his job is. So it can be, here we see certainly this problem will lead to failure for an organization to operate. Indirectly, successfulness of an organization internal control police will achieve failure. Okay, number 3, management philosophy and operating style. Okay, establishing and maintaining and monitoring the organization's internal control are management responsibilities. Following may giving important information about management philosophy and operating style. Okay, so here there are three situation. Okay, so first situation, management approach to taking and monitoring business risk. For example, they must have a basis which is what they are serious about internal control. What they are taking serious about the internal control. Secondly, management attitudes and action towards financial reporting. For example, they must have a basis which is do they have attitudes and action toward financial reporting properly? Okay. So number three, management attitudes toward information processing and accounting information and personnel. For example, they must have a basis which is do they invest toward a better system, transaction records in the Excel system, then record in the book. Yeah, Excel system is better. The internal control policy of an organization is very high if an organization does not have the control environment as the basis in the organization or foundation. Okay, there's an organization should have the elements control environment as stated for their organization to continue to run smoothly, as well as ensuring the successfulness of an organization internal control policy to remain continuous. So I think that's all from us. So hopefully enjoy. Bye.